What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Game Week 22 to 38 FPL chip strategy video. My name is Ryan and welcome to the Football Chatbox. Now, we're going to get started. We're going to look into what chips you can play in which specific game weeks, right? So having a look at that, we're going to have a complete breakdown of maybe certain chips are usable in these specific weeks and certain chips are usable in certain other specific weeks. Having said all of that, let's get straight in to the video. Alright, so now we are looking right now at the chip usage of everyone in the Football Chatbox mini league. So if you haven't joined, make sure to join the league. The league code is right down at the bottom, X269WB. But basically, I'm just looking at who's used what chips to kind of get an idea of where everyone is at right now. So now looks like Wildcard 1 obviously is completely gone. And this is right now, I think, the top 50 what we're looking at. But Wildcard 2, quite a lot of managers still have it. Free hits also, it seems like quite a few of you guys have it. Triple captain though, that seems to be a bit used by the looks of it. And then obviously the bench boost as well. Quite a lot of you still have the bench boost chip as well. Now that we know that specific information, let's get straight into what weeks will be the best time to play certain chips. Now, starting off, I've made a very basic table here, but hopefully this kind of helps to maybe explain the video. Now, I've gone through and seen which weeks will be good to have, which weeks will be good to play certain chips. Now, obviously on the left side, we've got triple captain, wildcard, free hit, and bench boost. And then on the top row, you've got each game week. And we're having a look at when we could use each chip. Now, triple captain chip, at the moment, there are two game weeks that look pretty good. One being Game Week 22 and the other being Game Week 23. Now, Game Week 22, United are probably the best option with them playing Crystal Palace and Leeds both at home, which is why both the team names are in capital letters. Meanwhile, in 23, you got City who play Villa at home and Arsenal away. Now, it's 22 is going to come down to mainly Marcus Rashford for triple captaincy shout. 23 mainly down to Erling Haaland. So we're going to have a look into those two, see how they're doing so far, and see which one is probably the better shout to go for. In terms of chip weeks, the others in terms of the wild card, now we're expecting a huge blank in Game Week 28. And we're also expecting a blank in Game Week 32. Now, there is a possible scenario in terms of the wild card. You could dead end your team in Game Week 28 and then create a fresh team for Game Week 29. So when I mean by dead end, I basically say you transfer out all the players who aren't having a fixture in Game Week 28. By the time you get to Game Week 28, you only have a full playing 11 of players having fixtures on Game Week 28. And then in Game Week 29, you wildcard all the players that you lost, who you want for the rest of the season. That's one possible situation, but then you have a blank in Game Week 32. So in this specific situation, let's say you do dead end in 28, you won't need to use your free hit. Then you can save your free hit for if you want a blank in Game Week 32. At the moment, we currently have only 4 fixtures confirmed for 28 and 3 for 32. But there is possibility that there'll be more fixtures added to this once we get an idea of how the cup fixtures, how the FA Cup fixtures go. So there will be more fixtures to come. Now, another thing is, you could wildcard in 29. There is a possibility there are a few double game weeks in 29 as well. So you could also take advantage of the double game weeks in 29 while wildcarding as well. So that's another possibility maybe an advantage for wildcarding in double game week 29. Now, you might also be a person who probably doesn't want to use your free hit chip on a blank game week, right? In that specific case, you could possibly dead end, get your team somehow to 28 with decent number, at least 11 playing. Don't wildcard in 29, but then dead end your team in 32. Wildcard in 33, and then prepare your team for the doubles in 34 and 37, where you can use your free hit in one of the weeks and probably use your bench boost in another. So 34, you could probably use a bench boost if you wanted just after wildcard. So prepare a team for 34 bench boost, and then you could free hit in 37. That's another possibility. So those are a few options that you have. but those are kind of what we're thinking. We're expecting double game weeks in 34 and 37. So I was thinking, okay, what's a good week to wildcard? 33 seems like a decent week with 32 being a blank. So that's kind of my thinking right here in terms of where I would probably put the chips. But let me know in the comments if you think I've missed any possible situations of where we could play certain chips. Let me know. I haven't added Game Week 25 because I'm expecting you guys to be able to get a full playing 11. And only it's most likely Newcastle and United who are going to be blanking in Game Week 25. So only 2 teams should be able to get a full playing 11 out before Game Week 25. So there is no real reason to use a chip over there. Now, let's have a look in terms of triple captaincy. Because that's the main talking point right now. Let's have a look into triple captaincy and whether Rashford or Haaland are really good options, or will Bruno Fernandes be another decent option as well for captaincy or triple captaincy as well. We'll have a look in both situations. So I'm going to bring that up on the Fantasy Football Scout members area. So if you want to join, links in the description. You can use the code from the football chat box to join. Now, this is basically a comparison of stats for the whole season between Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. Rashford is the green part, very tiny area when you look at the whole season. Bruno Fernandes obviously excelling in chances created, big chances created, and BPS baseline as well as total assist. And then obviously Haaland in black, as you can see, monster area covered by Erling Haaland. In terms of stats as well, as you can see, Haaland is just completely superior to both options. In terms of expected stats, he is completely high, at least expecting 1 goal involvement per game. Bruno Fernandes has 0.4, Marcus Rashford has 0.5. In terms of expected assist, obviously Bruno is higher, which we kind of saw from here. But in terms of expected goals, non-penalty, Erling Haaland is quite high. Now, in terms of key fantasy stats as well, that's slightly different because you can see expected minutes. Bruno gets the most minutes out of anyone. In terms of assist, obviously he's higher. Clean sheet points, a midfielder does get extra clean sheet points because of that. But in terms of pure goals, I mean, there's no one better than Erling Haaland at the moment. Now, but then why would Marcus Rashford probably be a better option for triple captain, or why is he more spoken of as triple captaincy option compared to Erling Haaland? Because if you look at maybe the BPS as well, BPS wise, Bruno Fernandes is significantly better. Goal threat wise, Erling Haaland is significantly better. Rashford is a close second, with Bruno a third position. This is where Bruno is probably, in terms of comparing captaincy for Game Week 22, between Rashford and Bruno, maybe Rashford slightly has the higher chance at the moment because he seems to be better in terms of goal threat. Although at the moment, I myself am not really sure where I want to go. Just because of my rank, I might go slightly differential, but I haven't decided yet. But Bruno isn't too far off as well in terms of the goal threat. Distribution-wise, obviously creativity is going to be from Bruno Fernandes, and defending we don't really care. So we're going to go. This is basically the whole season, right? This is the whole season. Here's the heat map. As you can see, Haaland, if he gets involved, if City get him the ball, he's going to find goals. Now, let's have a look, more importantly, at a specific game week range. This is basically, we're going to have a look from post World Cup, because this is where Rashford's form changes. As you can see, he's started to spike even more. FPL goal involvement almost basically matches Erling Haaland in black. Bruno Fernandes, again, top for big chances created, BPS baseline, and total assist. But Bruno isn't too far behind in terms of FPL goal involvement. Goal attempts, Haaland significant, Rashford second, and Bruno third. Shots in the box, obviously Haaland significantly higher. Marcus Rashford kind of has to get there. But touches in the penalty area, both are almost the same. Haaland 6.5, Rashford 6.2. So that the form of Marcus Rashford is significantly more improved compared to the whole season, but still Erling Haaland is slightly better option. Stats wise as well, very similar. Key fantasy stats, Bruno slightly higher in certain areas. Expected stats as well, Bruno has improved, which is why I'm thinking now it's a bit more closer in terms of competition between him and Rashford. In terms of expected goal involvement, 0.5 for Bruno, 0.7 for Rashford, and 1 goal at least a game from Erling Haaland. Involvement, obviously, that's down to creation and everything. Bruno is significantly involved. So same thing for BPS. Goal threat, though, Haaland on top. Now, in terms of, we've seen it before. People captained Erling Haaland back in, I think, game week 20, if I'm not mistaken. I've completely forgotten. Yeah, game week 20. And it didn't work out because he had tougher fixtures to play. Now, the fixtures are slightly different. Let me bring it back to this. Crystal Palace and Leeds are probably, since the restart or even season wide, are one of the worst defenses in the league. Now, we will go through it in a bit more detail in the podcast tomorrow, but in terms of defensive wise, Crystal Palace and Leeds are much more easier compared to Aston Villa and Arsenal for City. Now, that's kind of where the balances switch. Haaland individually is a better player in terms of a triple captainship, but when you put the fixtures, then it starts to even things out, because then United's fixtures are significantly better because of the fact that the defenses of both Leeds and Crystal Palace aren't great. So then the competition between Rashford and Haaland is somewhat equal, and it comes down to you in terms of who you kind of prefer. Now, we know what Haaland is capable of. We've seen it. We know also Rashford is on really hot form, and at home, his form is even more better. So it's a tough one to call. To be honest, for me, I'm just, because of where I am in my certain rank, I'm like at 1 million at the moment. I am leaning slightly towards Haaland triple captaincy because I'm expecting a lot of people to go towards Rashford in terms of triple captaincy. And this is probably me trying to play slightly differential and trying to see if I can gain rank by being a bit differential, because I'm expecting a lot to go towards Rashford. So that's the one reason where I'm like, okay, where can I find which places can I try and gain rank in some ways? That's kind of where I'm thinking. But if you're at a higher rank, significantly higher rank, maybe if you want a safer option, Rashford is not a bad choice, because I expect quite a lot of people to actually triple captain him this week. If you're at a much more lower rank, maybe you could triple captain Haaland if you wanted to. Or you could also, if this is something else I'm thinking, is possibly maybe captaining Bruno and triple captaining Haaland. That's significantly different. That's probably very risky as well, because Rashford will be significantly owned. But end of the day, for me at the moment, I don't think there's too much of a points difference between Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. You should triple captain who you think is going to get the most points. End of the day, doesn't matter. EO and everything doesn't really need to affect this. You just need to triple captain who you think is going to get the most points. And out of those three players, I think Haaland will still probably get the most points, which is why I'm more leaning towards him for triple captaincy. But when it comes to captaincy for 22, I am at the moment I'm at the moment undecided. Let's put it that way. Because we'll have to see. Still undecided. I'll probably go towards the deadline. During the deadline stream, you'll be able to see me and what decision I've gone with. But that's basically triple captain. Now, free hit is a different story. Free hit is going to come down to a lot of FA Cup fixtures and how they place. Now, this is from Ben Krelin. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. I've taken these pictures from his Twitter. Basically, game week 28, the fixtures that we've seen that are confirmed are the bottom four: Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Villa, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Everton, Forest, Newcastle. Now, I'm expecting a lot of us to be having at least triple Arsenal by the time you get to 28. So you'll have triple Arsenal, maybe double Newcastle. You'll have about 5 players, right? You'll possibly have a Chelsea defender as well. Kepa, a lot of people have Kepa. 6 there. Maybe you might get Reece James by that time. 7 players at least. And then obviously Villa, Forest, you could potentially find fixtures there. You could also get maybe Liverpool versus Fulham as a possible option. Now, Liverpool versus Fulham completely depends on FA Cup 5th round. Fulham or Sunderland, one of the two will have to play in the replay. If Fulham get knocked out against Sunderland in the replay, then that game goes ahead. If Fulham go through, then they play Leeds. And then you kind of have to see whether Leeds will win or whether Fulham will win. And based on that, either Wolves or Liverpool will get a fixture. And then obviously you've got Brentford versus Leicester. Again, depends on the FA Cup. Leicester more likely to win their game. So I'm expecting that to kind of be like a blank as well. And then the top 3, chances of those being blanks are pretty high based on the percentages as well, as you can see. So you potentially get a Liverpool versus Fulham fixture extra potentially. And there is rumors that maybe Liverpool could get a double in 25 or 26 as well. So you might end up with 2 Liverpool players maybe by then. So you'll probably have at least 9 players heading into game week 28 who have fixtures, and then you kind of need to find 2 more players to try and play. Depending on your squads, you might even have 11. But between 9 to 11, if you have for 28, or at least before 28, I think you'll be in a decent position, to be honest. Game week 32 is slightly a bit more harder to predict because there are fixtures that could happen, could not happen. All depends on the FA Cup 7th round. So we won't even know that because we'll have to first see who qualifies from the 5th round, see who they play in the 6th round, see whether they get knocked out or not. All of that, that's gonna be a long way ahead, and I don't think we need to think about it too much. But just keep in mind that there will be a few blanks, right? A few blanks in game week 32. So then that comes back to your chips. Can you potentially, let's say we right now I've got 3 fixtures in 32. Let's say we get a bit more fixtures, like another 3 more fixtures at least. I don't know. Can we get 3 more fixtures? Maybe potentially we could. If we get 3 more fixtures, 6 fixtures, I think you should be able to put 11 out for that. And let's say you are able to put 11 out for game week 28 as well. Then you don't really need to use your free hit in both 28 and 32. And you could probably save it for maybe a game week 37 free hit as an option, right? And then you could wildcard in 33, 34 bench boost, and 37 free hit. That's something you could probably do as well. I haven't decided myself in terms of which way I want to go. We'll know more information by game week 26 in terms of the rest of the doubles for 28, how they're going to go and all of that, and the blanks as well, how they're going to go. So by then, I'll do another maybe chip strategy video to update this one. But in terms of other chips that are not triple captain, I think we can kind of wait, but at least this is just to give you an idea of where you could potentially play your chips. Triple captaincy, as you see, like if you look at all the other weeks, right, of where we could potentially play our chips, there's no real other week that stands out to play a triple captaincy for 2 reasons. One, we don't really know what other doubles will appear. And also the second reason being the potential doubles that we might get might not be as favorable as it is right now. In terms of favorable, I mean like the fixtures won't be as great most likely. There's a chance that United get a double in 29, but that one of those doubles involves Newcastle. So then you're like, do I really want Newcastle as one of the doubles compared to maybe Crystal Palace versus Leeds? Don't know, right? City, chances of them getting a double also, we don't know. Probably unlikely. Depends on how far they go in the FA Cup and all of that, and also the Champions League football. So we don't know. City's position as well could change. Haaland fitness, we know he has had a poor history of fitness previously. Maybe priorities change for them in terms of Champions League football. It gets more important, then he gets rotated. We don't know, right? Those kind of things we don't know. So it's very hard to kind of tell when will be a really good option to play a triple captaincy chip again, which is why right now 22 and 23 are the most appealing times to play the triple captaincy chip. Now, that's basically what I wanted to cover in terms of where my thinking is in terms of the chips. Free hit and bench boost and wildcard, I still haven't decided. We'll have to see how it goes in game 26. Triple captaincy, I think 22 or 23 right now is probably the best time to play it. But let me know in the comments when you are playing your triple captaincy, or have you already played it? If you have, who are you captaining in these specific weeks? Let me know as well. And let me know what you thought about this. Did I miss any other weeks that you could probably play a chip? Obviously, you can play your bench boost chip whenever you want, because you could hit 20 points in any given game week, but some game weeks are slightly better than others. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, and if this video did help you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all for the podcast on Wednesday. I'll see you all later.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us.